Hey everybody, Will from Bonnet and Bottles. I am here to give you another whiskey review. It wasn't that long ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, that I was sitting in this exact same seat talking to you about a brand new release from Bardstown Bourbon Company. That was Discovery Series 8, which blew me away. If you have not watched my review on that, please do. It's an amazing whiskey that you definitely need to learn about. No, I am here to talk to you about a brand new collaborative series release. This time, it is Chateau de Laubade. If you've been following Bardstown Bourbon Company for around the last 6 years that they've been around and distilling and producing stuff, you'll notice probably that they did a Chateau de Laubade release back in the day. So this is the second iteration of Chateau de Laubade. The first release was met with tons of praise. Everybody loves that bottle, except for me because I never got to try it. Maybe someday. Either way, though, I was very excited because at the end of the day, this is Armagnac finished whiskey. And I love Armagnac and Cognac finished whiskeys. I think that there are other, finishes that are pretty good. But in terms of what pairs well and the flavors that I enjoy, there's something about Cognac and Armagnac finish whiskeys. So the first time that Bardstown Bourbon Company did their Chateau de Laubade release, they used a 12-year-old bourbon from Indiana. That was a high corn recipe, and they finished it in the Armagnac casks for 18 months. It was also a little bit higher proof. It was 118 proof. And again, people loved that bottle. This time around, Bardstown did things slightly differently. So they took a 12-year-old Kentucky bourbon, a 10-year-old Tennessee whiskey, and then they aged it in the Armagnac casks from Chateau de Laubade for 16 months. I'm not sure which type of Armagnac casks these were. I don't know if it was a specific type that Bardstown looked for. What I can tell you is that Chateau de Laubade is very renowned in the Armagnac world, and they produce some amazing products, a lot of which are of older age. So it would be no surprise to me if the barrel was, 15, 20 plus years old that they used to age this whiskey in. Anyway, I am super excited. Bardstown proofed this bottle at 107 proof, and that is a perfect proof for many whiskeys out there that I enjoy. It brings out just enough to let the whiskey shine and for the finish to stick around. It's a great balanced proof, so I'm excited about that too. I'm such a nerd for loving the proof. So another added tidbit to this as well is that Bardstown took half of the barrels that were resting in the Armagnac casks and placed them in the higher part of the rickhouse. And then the other half, they rested in the lower portion of the rickhouse. If that doesn't really make much sense to you, just turn this off right now. Just kidding. If you're not familiar with why a distillery would do that, placing barrels higher up in the rickhouse, you're going to have higher heat temperature, number one. Okay, so your wood's going to be expanding and contracting quite a bit while it's up there. It's going to get a lot of airflow going through the top part of the rickhouse, and by doing that, you're going to extract a lot of great flavor from the wood, because as it gets colder, it contracts. As it gets hot, it expands. So you've got half the barrels resting up there, and then the other half on the bottom level of the rickhouse, or lower down at least, and that's going to reduce airflow on the bottom, and that's going to be cooler temperatures. Your alcohol, your ABV is going to be lower in those barrels than it is in the barrels up high, because you're going to have higher water extraction. Your alcohol proof's going to go up in those higher barrels. So you've got a lot of varying effects that are occurring between those barrels up high and the barrels down low. A lot at play there. Again, they are wizards at blending, and I trust that what they did was just to do nothing but enhance the whiskey in the end. So Chateau de Laubade is hitting shelves currently and will throughout the remainder of the year. Of course, like anything else that Bardstown Bourbon Company produces, it's going to be a little bit more on the limited side. I don't know if you've heard of this or not, but this is another one of their collaborative releases that they did. Bottle's a little dirty. Sorry about that. But it's called Ferrand. And they took Kentucky bourbon and finished it in Pierre Ferrand cognac casks. Love that bottle. That came out last year, so we'll see how this one stacks up. The nose is nice. Like Armagnac is such a, like, it sort of tastes like cognac, but there's differences to it too. Like I have a bottle of 25-year-old Armagnac here at home, different distillery, not Chateau de Laubade. And I can't even explain really what it tastes like. It's like plums and Christmas spices and all that stuff. And I just find that it's just really interesting. You sort of pick up on those distinct Armagnac notes for sure in this. It's like a dark, I can't even put my finger on what it is, but dark, what is it? It like clove? There might be some clove in there. Really interesting nose. Definitely pick up on the Armagnac in this. Let's drink it. Whoa. That just like hits you all at once. It's so intense. That is such a bold pour. That is very good. That is very good. You feel the Kentucky bourbon first. That comes through. That's bright. That's spicy. That rolls through. That spice subsides. You're left with like apricot and sweetness. And there's like dark notes that start to come through, like sort of at the end. Dark, sweet notes. Again, almost that distinct Armagnac flavor. I can't explain really what it is. But it's complex. Very complex whiskey. And this just has an abundance of different flavors going on. And it sticks around. Like this whiskey sticks around. This is an end of the night pour. This is, you're bringing out a celebration bottle. You're, having this every once in a while because this is very special and it's intense and complex. I don't say intense to say that it's like overbearing alcohol sort of thing, but there is so much to take in with a pour like this that you don't want to waste a moment thinking about anything else. You just don't. Well, damn it. They knocked it out of the damn park again. I don't know how to say this. That is a pretty incredible pour. Again, the complexity is kind of blowing my mind. Because it smells like a Armagnac on the nose. Take it down, and again, I'm amazed at like this sort of layers that it goes through. Kentucky bourbon first, Armagnac second, Tennessee whiskey third, more Armagnac fourth. And you just sit there and digest all those flavors, all those great flavors. I really love Ferrand, and I'm actually going to pour a little bit right now. Like I feel like Ferrand is more bright, spicy, upfront. I don't know how else to describe it, but I figured that Chateau de Laubade would be a little bit sweeter, darker, richer. So I'm going to test that theory now. Yeah, it smells like a spring day. I don't know, just sweet, bright, floral. But there are multiple layers to Laubade. I feel like Ferrand doesn't have as many of those layers. Still a phenomenal whiskey, but I was very curious as to how the two would stack up against each other. Well, guys, I don't know how to say this, but I have another bottle you're going to need to buy, and it's this one. Yeah, this is incredible. Bardstown did plantation rum finish before this, and then they had a KBS stout finish before that. And both of those bottles were great in their own right. However, this is completely my speed. This is the type of whiskey that I get really nerdy and excited about. Because Armagnac and cognac flavors pair so unbelievably well with bourbon. you just get a level of depth to it, and it just can't be beat in my mind in terms of finishing whiskey. It is going to be limited, just like Discovery 8 and all their other collaborative and rare releases are going to be. I do hope you can find a bottle. If you don't beat yourself up about it. Try to find it at a bar to try. Try to steal a pour from a friend. If you can get a bottle, fantastic. You're going to want this one. So I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks very much, and I'll see you at the next one. Cheers.